Hello, welcome to this week's technique tutorial. What we're going to look at today is again another part of our side series. It's a development as a slight little breakout of one of the exercises we've done a couple of weeks ago. So when we look at our circles, we do our big circles where we lift the leg up really high. You find that the hip really wants to pull up towards the shoulder. And what we're doing there is, if you look kind of microscopically at the glute fibres themselves, but inside the muscle, you've got these actin and myosin filaments. So they're like little ladders that kind of crawl along each other and then move backwards. So what happens is you crawl along each other to get to the very end, and they overlap to the extreme, and I find it hard to contract any further. So what happens is you find it really difficult to really squeeze those muscles at the top of that circle, and then the obliques want to kick in and tilt the hips to help you get the leg up nice and high. So this week we're going to look at our pulses, and it's a way of breaking that movement down and focusing on that inner range where the fibres overlap to their maximum. And it's a way of really challenging the muscle in that range and building up more control around that. So we're going to have a look at that. So we'll come on to our side. So resting down, back lined up at the back of the mat as always. Head resting on top of our hand on top of our block. Hips swing forward and point to the front corner of the mat. So we're going to start off first by pushing the top hip down. We're going to lift the top leg up as high as you can without that hip pulling up towards you, your shoulder. So push the heel away from the body, lift the leg nice and high. Make sure the toes point straight forward, the foot and the toes point straight forward. Don't have them pointing to the ceiling. If that happens, we start to work our rectus femoris and our hip flexors at the front, along the TFL, small muscle on kind of the front and the side of the hip. What we want is the toes pointing forward, so we get our glutes. And if you really want to work the glutes, you can even try and point the toes down and maximise the amount of muscle contraction there. So we'll start with the toes pointing forward, leg up as high as you can, push the heel away from the body, and then just little pulses. So we're just focusing on that range where the pelvis wants to tilt back, and we really get those glute muscles squeezing and working hard. And you'll feel them contracting tight. And then you can rest the leg down. So that's one exercise we can do to build some strength up in that range. We turn the toes forward, or even a little bit down, and we just work on small pulses and bring the heel up and down about 4 to 6 inches. Another one we can do is again getting into that same position, leg up nice and high, toes pointing forward, push the heel away from the body so the pelvis is level, and you can draw little circles up nice and high. And this will build more control in and around the glute fibres in that inner range. So instead of just working on some brute force and strength, we start to build control. And we can go forwards or backwards. And we can rest the leg down. And what we're looking for here is nice smooth movements going around. And the other thing is we keep the pelvis here still. So where my hand is, on that little bony part of the front of the hip, you have your finger there and your thumb wrapped around the back. And you don't want to feel, as you move the leg, the pelvis coming up and down. We want to keep that pelvis level and still the whole time. So all the movement's coming from this part of the body here, and you really feel the glutes back here squeezing nice and hard. So that's a small little breakout of these exercises that you can do. If you find it hard to do our side series, when you're lifting the leg up nice and high, or even you find the hip tilting up and down quite a lot, this is a great exercise to focus and build more control and more strength into that area. Give it a try, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.